Atlanta's #1 hip-hop station, Hot 107.9, Empress Cersei inside the kingdom, man, home of Birthday Bash 20. Do y'all understand how big Birthday Bash is about to be this year? It's about to be the biggest concert that the world has ever seen. And speaking of the biggest, something that the world has ever seen, we got some of the biggest producers and writers, and it's been a long time since Umbrella. I got my man, the American Dream, and Tricky Stewart in the building. What's up, Dream?
We up in here, you know what I'm saying? We chilling big dog.
Tricky, what up?
What's up, man?
Hit man, the west side.
In the A.
This that real combination right here. Y'all came out with this combination and been doing some hits and it's making the A. Just you hanging out with Jay-Z and writing songs for Jay and Beyonce and everybody, brother.
Yeah, man.
Justin Bieber.
Blessing.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah. Blessing, man. Like, yeah, we was like, man, we feel like kids, like in the candy store. Like it's just like 07 just kind of took off. And we still on that ride though. Like we ain't off of it yet.
Right.
Yeah.
It must be nice too. Like Shanika said, you write a nice song. It goes like super platinum, sell a lot of records. And you say, all right, I'm just gonna get that to my baby mom. You take that check.
Yeah, here you go.
You just cut right into that.
Yeah,
you jump right into it with the song, and it just kind of made me think about it.
Oh, no,
yeah.
Baby.
Oh
yeah, baby. Oh yeah,
Justin
right.
Bieber.
I forgot about that, man. Not bad.
See, that's when you get old money.
Oh,
that's how it is when you get that old money.
What I'm talking about,
he got that old money, new money, old money, all that old good stuff, man. Everything good with you though?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it back into place in the perspective. When those grown men were like the guys that you wanted to hear from to talk that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, those Marvin Gayes of the world. Like I remember that time when my mom used to just walk around cleaning up on Saturday mornings and Marvin Gaye's playing in the background talking about nothing but that grown. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about old.
Right.
Grown.
Right. That's super grown.
Yeah, we'll
that
get
clean
right
up
there.
music.
Yeah, that clean up music. Because you got something to clean up.
So let me ask you this though, man, because I know you're a producer, you're also an artist, and you had a lot of records, and you're still doing a lot of music, but it's kind of scary because I see a lot of artists who are big name artists scared to put out albums right now because obviously the climate is a little slow. People are not really selling records. What is it that make you, as a big time writer for all these big people, want to say, let me test these waters, be doing an album again?
I think it's purely because I am a writer. And I think for generations and generations, we depended on writers more than anything to kind of fuel, what's going on in the world, dating back to whether it's Otis Redding, first cut of what Respect was, and then Aretha Franklin, of course, cut it after he cut it, but he's the original author of that record. Smokey Robinson, so I don't think you gotta have a fear when the artist component is your second component to what you do. The artistry is in what you're writing. So what I'm writing is a reflection of what's going on in the world, in my eyes, at this particular point in time, as it associates with love, socially, or whatever. Like, people kind of look to me to tell them that, and I don't look at the numbers to dictate whether I'm going to put it out or not.
Right, because you put out some free albums. I remember back in the day, you put out a couple of free joints.
Yeah, man, I throw them things out, man. I had to get off music, man. I've been doing music since 3rd grade, so for me, it's just a love for it. It's a rare thing to be able to say in your heart and know that I could do music for free. Like if I was working for the city of Atlanta in any capacity, which is what I thought that I would do, at a certain point. I remember in 9th grade, 10th grade, I was like, okay, cool, I'm good with 60, 70 a year. Like, let me find that spot. But not doing music never entered into my mind.
Right.
I just figured out a way to turn it into something. Right.
But you're in a place where, like I said, you're working with big artists. You're working with the Jay-Z's. You're working with the Beyoncé's and these kind of people. And Tricky. Like, is that where the excitement comes from, or is it still about going out there trying to find that new artist that I can blow up with a hot new record? Yeah,
we just kind of got back on that pace. Me and Trick did of finding new artists and being able to give them those records. Give them their Umbrellas and their single ladies, or like Justin Bieber, give him that baby that changes it from one, that takes an artist from one spectrum into another, and separates them from the rest. So we just kind of got back into that, but also dealing with Jay and B and Ree and Kanye, which is my family now. Like, it's just what we've been holding each other down for 5 years now, and that's something that was rooted in a relationship that was made out of the ground. Like, it's not like they have any roots in Atlanta. Like, I was able to take this Atlanta kid was able to take that and then go and sit it in front of them and work on this relationship that me and Trick have, with those guys. And I know sometimes in hip hop we kind of downplay what they actually mean.
Right.
But nah, it's everything. It was the same thing that Mike meant back in the day. When you're living beside your peers, sometimes I think it's kind of hard to get them that type of credit.
Mm-hmm.
But they definitely have put something together, and definitely has been a blessing for me and Trick.
Okay. All right. Trick?
Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more.
Okay. All right. Well, let me ask you this. We kind of talk about award shows. I know Miss Shanika, we were just talking about Oscars and how important that is. Mm-hmm. Now you've won 5, 6 Grammys?
5, yeah.
Is the feeling the same when you walk on that stage and if you feel like you might be up for another Grammy? Is it the first Grammy?
Oh man, yeah, man. It's the same every time. It's the same gut wrenching thing too. I just lost for Beyonce's album, so it's the same come on, man.
Right.
It's something, because that up here it's when you look at something growing up and you look at that statue and you see those people go on stage and you're like, oh man, and you think that a nomination is cool until you win one, and you think that winning one is cool until you win 2, and then it becomes a thirst level of you think you're supposed to win 2 every year. It's just a thing, and you try to make sure your music is on that level and in that place every time, no matter what. All right, what record can I do that changes things in my life and in other people's lives that's riding around going to work every day, and they hear something and say, oh man, Dream, you wrote this record, man, that was me and my boyfriend's favorite
the red
song.
Corvette.
Right.
Yeah, like Fast Car.
Right.
Boy, do you know what I did to that thing?
Right.
That makes me feel good on the inside to be able to do that. And also I think because me and Trix, our position on everything that we do, it's not an ego involved. We just really try to make the artists as best as they can,
right.
Because it was never my intention to be an artist. Shawty as a 10 was the first record I cut for
Right.
The Dream as an artist. It wasn't out here shopping a deal. I didn't go to 5 labels trying to shop a deal. I was me. I was a songwriter. The
Right.
same thing that I am now. That's my artistry. I'm an artist in that way. And we just started Love Hate just to kind of just show. We were just showing off, basically.
Right.
It was oh, we done figured it out. We got it. We got it. Let's do it. Let's do 3 of them and get out. And that's what we, that's what we did.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it was important that we did those records, because at the time when Umbrella really blew up, it was for us, the second singles of Umbrella was on Dream's album, in the sense to have everybody go say, this is what they do.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is where you can get this. And I think Timberland and Missy did a great job with that. You knew what they were able to show a broad
showcase,
spectrum.
yeah.
So it was basically like a showcase record. So even on Love versus Money, we were just showing off. You know what I mean? It was really just some creative to creative type of stuff.
I can definitely see that, because that Rihanna song, the Umbrella song, was my favorite song when it came out. And then of course I bought your first album really off of the hype of that Umbrella, Shawty is a 10, and
Nice.
that's one of my
And
favorite
Bed
albums.
was out. Yeah, Bed was out right there.
Right.
Yeah, Jay Holiday, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, that was definitely your time. So with that being said, I really loved your artistry, and definitely appreciated what you brought to the table into the entertainment industry. But there was a point where I guess going into the second album, there was something going on with the DJs in the city. I guess you had a listening
I remember
party. And my question to you is, I guess people do go through what they go through on their personal side. Mm-hmm. So was that something that was going on during that time, or did you really? I know you ain't really think that that they're DJs and they're right here, because that's what they kind of felt.
And that's just horrible.
Yeah, and that was bad.
No,
so
I'm missing this.
So
Bring
it
it
kind of changed how I looked at you as an artist.
Where'd you get that information from?
From all the DJs.
That's not.
Can we get the information?
Where did they get the information from?
I'm confused.
Okay, you remember the listening thing?
Yes.
All right. And all the DJs that went there said that that Dream either didn't talk to them or it was like,
I do remember.
Yeah, it was like real bad. And so they came and they were like, man, you know, I ain't fooling with Dream no more, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, Dream ain't act like that. Until like one of our bosses or something said that, you know, it was like not any kind of interaction between you and the DJs. Mm-hmm. And so my whole question was to ask, was it something that you were personally going through and you just
I don't think it was anything that I was personally going through. I think it was how the particular event was set up. Okay. And it was set up where it wasn't like I was being able to be personable with people, because the one thing I don't do is walk away from being personable with
and that's
people.
What I figured.
So they put me in a section and said, all right, this is your section and this is what their section is. Mind you, being an artist for me is different than being a producer and a songwriter, because we just talk to people like it is what it is. So once you add in management and road management or whatever it is, and they come in and start doing their like 1, 2 and say, hey, yeah, also put like 5 security guards over there. You're like, I guess that's how. Okay, well, all right, cool. And I'm sit right here like, yeah, just stay right there. And so, and what's funny is what I learned a lot from that, and I took away from it. Let me take control, because I got here doing it my way, and I said, you know what? Let me take control, because I'm not scared to look at somebody and tell them when they're wrong. The same way I'm not scared to take whatever when they say like, hey man, you was acting funny on whatever that is. I'll let you know why I was acting funny, or I'm probably actually not acting funny. You just not being pacified enough, like or whatever the situation may be. But I'm not scared to have that conversation with anybody. So that was just one of those weird days where it's like, this is weird. Like this is just a weird day at a weird place. The event was at a place I didn't want it to be at. I'm like, yo, why we ain't doing it at my studio?
I understand.
I don't go over there. I don't know how it's set up. Do it. It was like I was in town, but I was out of town.
Right. And that's kind of how the DJs felt, because they felt like, this is our hometown guy. He's doing this, that, and the third. We supported the first album, and now we can't talk to him. Right. I was like,
yeah, that's. I don't know what that was about. Yeah, me and somebody else have a conversation about that, because it was literally, but they were talking to somebody at the label, then talking about, it's funny what success does, because success puts about 10 people between you and the people you started out with.
Right.
And then it talks to that person, to that person, to that person. And I just finally had to say, like, maybe three years ago now, like, yo, don't talk to him. Like, you can talk to me. I'll let you know whether I'm going to birthday bash or not. Like, it's real simple.
Right.
Like,
that's one of my problems right now.
Like, what's up? Like, what's good? Like, y'all spinning that record? Cool. I will be there to perform everything. It's real easy and simple to me, but when it's I swear, and I think everybody goes through it, and I would say even to the DJs or even anybody in that type of a scenario, to understand, especially because I think the DJs have a longer time seeing artists come in and come out, and do their things, to understand that when that artist goes to the top and you had something to do with it, at least give them that space to start to get what's going on, because there are just people going to come in and do their thing that you just never seen before. You have 8 people doing your video, 9 people trying to do your nails. You're like, oh, okay, I'm on my Mariah status. Cool, that's what's up. Like it was just a lot of people, and I think we just broke it down like back to like, now let's bring it back in.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just a disconnect.
Yeah.
All right. That's what I figured.
Yeah, glad you brought that back up.
You won me back a long time ago in the process.
Thank you for taking me back.
Squeeze a harder.
I never wanted to come back before, but now I do.
Welcome back.
Oh my God. I would do something else to you, but it probably wouldn't be good.
Pockets. Leave less on that money.
I'd probably get in trouble.
We can eat good up here at work, man.
Get you some steaks.
Stop begging, okay?
Hey, I got a bag. You never know. He might feel generous today or something.
I feel generous every day.
All right, I really love Nivea. That's like my twin, my girl, my home girl.
My G.
And y'all act just alike. Oh my God.
Because we're silly.
Yes.
Yeah. Therefore, our children are silly. And so one of us has to be like, man, I swear, man, when my kids are doing stuff, I'm just in there like, boy,
that's you all day.
Me. And I got to figure out, like, oh, man. And I called Nim, like, do I have to be the bad guy today? Like, can I just, like, laugh at him, like, because I know she gonna be silly with him, so I have to sit there like, that's not really that funny. you really shouldn't. Like, why would you try to put that book on your sister? That's not cool. There's nothing funny about that. In your mind, though, you're like, that's pretty funny.
Right.
Man.
No, even with that though, because I know it has to be really tough, man, because you hear social media, you hear people talking like, oh man, Dream, Nivea, now Christina Milian, and now Wayne is coming to the picture. It's like, okay, man. Does that affect you when you hear this, bro?
I think God created my personality just for things like this.
Okay.
Right.
Because I just, I'm like, as many times as I say it, and I'm not saying it to try to believe it. Like, I literally feel this way. And a lot of people who know me know exactly how I am. Like, and you'll find love in the weirdest places, or lust, or whatever it is. Like, you have to do your thing. Like, people are grown. Let them do their thing. If I didn't want this type of life, I wouldn't have chose it. Like, I have to deal with the punches as they're thrown at me. So, but that doesn't affect me. Like, that's not the hardest part of my day. My kids and their safety is still the hardest part of my day.
Right.
And how they're gonna grow up and who's around them. The certain type of things in the fabrics of how life is gonna be for even my eldest daughter at the age of 16. Like, okay, like, when am I going to be the cool father? Am I going to be like, I have very natural things going on in my mind most of the time about life. So when something happens and it has something to do with show business and people, whether it has something to do with Wayne or Christina or whatever it is, it's like, okay, cool, I get it. Like, of course, y'all probably work in the studio every day. Like, it's not hard for me to, like, of course, if you're on the outside looking in, like, I don't get how that could even happen or how it could, like, okay, cool.
But human nature, your first reaction has to be like, what the fuck?
No,
not really.
Really?
No, I have a great imagination. I have a great imagination. I don't know whether that's stupidity or genius, but I have it. Whichever one it is and whatever day it is. Like, I'm fine.
Okay.
Right. And I can probably feel that. I mean, coming from an artist, I mean, there's a side of artists who see some things that, that we don't really want to talk about on the air. As DJs, there's some things that I see in the clubs and, people coming along, and then you got two celebrities, so, I get it. I get that. So we're going to go ahead and keep it moving on that one, brother.
Let's talk about the music, man.
Yeah, man. This new album coming March 31st?
March 31st is a double EP, so first half of the EP comes March 31st. The second half comes on June 9th.
Okay. So it's like a
crown jewel.
2 albums.
Yeah, it's because people consume music so fast. So we was just trying to cut it in half, and when we want you to consume it, like at a fast rate, we'll just drop like 100 records. Right. Other than that, if there's a vision or something that we're trying to say or trying to get out, or a point or a showcase, like Trick just led on to say, we want to break it down so people take their time with it. Fancy was on Love versus Money, but it was track number 8. It
was actually 10.
It's number 10?
Yeah.
It's track number 10. In today's climate, it would be hard to even make it to number 10 on an album, because people are just they jump from one thing to another. Right. And that's my favorite record. And I want to put my favorite record at 10 because to me in the album, it sits in the right place. But if you're telling me that people consuming music at a certain point, now I have to try to figure out how to move it up closer, and it messes my whole, and I just like making albums and complete things, so it's kind of been a struggle in that department, so we just kind of changed everything for that. Ooh. Feeling lucky.
Yep.
I don't know what that means.
You're definitely on my playlist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool, because it is a scary climate, like you said, with the music, the way people are kind of like on to the next all the time. What's the best advice that you're around people like you said, Kanye, Jay, Beyonce, and obviously you are your own man. But at the same time, Jay-Z still selling records, Beyonce still selling records, and Ye still selling records to a certain extent. Do you actually maybe kind of come to them with advice, because Beyonce was definitely different with dropping the album and having all the videos, kind of like spur of the moment. You get advice from them when you drop stuff?
Well, I don't say that I get advice from them as much as I'm probably definitely a catalyst in getting the ideas started. Like, I have my own ideas of what it is that I want to do. Luckily, I get to sit in that room when they're coming up with those ideas that that they have and how they want to distribute albums and stuff. And I remember even when we was trying to figure out how to do the B album the first time, and I told B, I was like, yo, this single for single thing ain't gonna work. It can't sustain, you know. And my idea was just make a movie for all of the tracks. Like just do a movie for all of the tracks and do it like that. Like just do Purple Rain, because that's the only way they're gonna like get it and consume it. Because number one, nobody's sitting there trying to download like a movie, like, or in her case now, video by video. You just rather get the whole thing. It's the impatience, like. Unfortunately, from a psychology standpoint, I have to work on your impatience. I know that you're not patient doing it. You'll hit the media player on, you know, one of the blog sites for a single, but to watch a whole video in that type of component,
right?
I just felt like it would be better to have a body of something versus having the leg here, the arm there, and then the rest. Because they chew it up too quick, and like, all right, cool, we got it.
Right.
You know, but it was a great body of work, you know, and it was great. It's great always going back and forth with the guys and just trying to figure out what's the new thing. Right.
So can you tell me what would be like my favorite new song on this new album that you have? If Shawty Need My Love was my favorite song on your first album.
All I Need would probably be your favorite record
really?
on this album. Yeah.
What is that song talking about?
All I Need Is You.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it for you as soon as you cut this off, so then you can go on here, you know what I'm saying? Put that on out in the air.
So let people know that's coming.
We ain't know, you know what I'm saying? Just saying, I got it up in here.
Okay, now I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready too.
All right, well, ATL, that's what's up,
like,
man.
That sounds like something else. I'm out.
No, it ain't that. I'm just, you know, I want to make sure we get this on the air. So, you know, we got to go ahead and get to it. Dream, we appreciate you coming through. We playing the new joint right now. That's my Ish, which is definitely crazy.
Featuring my Grove Park Elementary alumni, T.I.
Grove Park?
Y'all know about that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's on the west side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zone 1.
I was on the east and the south.
It's all
you know, I went to Carter G. Wilson.
Oh, that is.
So you already know.
Boom, boom.
Yeah,
you know what separates us? Bankhead Seafood.
Bankhead Seafood.
Man, can you imagine a fifth grader like going to Bankhead Seafood first before he go home?
Right.
He's just sitting there scounging up, yo, man. we were playing pop pencil for 25 cents. So literally, like, you're trying to break me. What? Just to get that $2 plate?
Yeah, man.
Hush puppies, and they used to scam me on the hush puppy. They give you like 2. And they so good. Like,
you from the west side too, Tricky?
No, I'm from Chicago.
Ah, okay. How long you been down here?
Too long.
17 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
20. I lived here 17 though. I was gone for like 3 years. You know, like pretty much in LA, but I've been. I would say now I have a dual citizenship because I left Chicago.
Dual citizenship.
Because when I left Chicago, I was 17, and then I spent 20 years here now. So.
And don't worry about it. He's Atlanta approved. I test him every now and then. You know, make sure we on the same place.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
well, you know how it is. Like when you in your own hood, like in Chicago back in the day, I would have gone to my own hood.
Right.
But now it's just too crazy. But I think if you still go in your own hood, then you from there. And here I've been everywhere in every hood, and I feel pretty comfortable everywhere.
Yeah.
So
okay,
I've been here a long time.
And since you talked about the whole ATL thing, do you feel like you still have to kind of rep the A when you go everywhere? You know, we born and raised in ATL.
I do it.
Mm-hmm.
like, oh man,
and the reason I say that because
the craziest thing, like when I do a song and finish a song and J and B sitting there the same way, he's like, you silly?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they are like, here go the Atlanta boy. Like I'm in there like, yeah, that's that A-Town dog. Know what I'm saying? Because they know I got that thing, and I just make sure it's everywhere, whether I'm in Paris or wherever it is, because I'm proud of it. Like I'm not, and I know people don't really see me a lot, but the first thing that people out there know about me, and it's crazy because I'm bigger in that world. Like I have no idea how it happened, but I'm a different thing, but maybe because I'm looked at as a songwriter first.
Right.
But they look at me like, oh, that's the guy from Atlanta.
Right.
Like,
right.
All right, cool. And I'm always trying to get people to come to my city. Like I was the first one. Like, man, where's our Beverly Hills at? Like, and when they started putting the stores up,
In Buckhead.
I was like, all right, here we go. We come and I can start convincing people to come through and do their whole album down here.
Right. And the reason I say it is because obviously, music.
I can start convincing.
Used to it because music actually.
They think we country now. I'm like, hold up now.
Right.
We know about
Like you
Valentino.
don't have a better days in.
But the reason I say it is because obviously with music kind of goes from like region to region, and obviously when the ATL is hot and the West Coast is hot, and people kind of say, well I got to do extra hot representing the A, and now the A seems to be kind of cooled off, I guess, as far as the the rest of the world as far as how it used to be when everybody looked at the ATL? Do they still look at it like Ace on top?
No, I make sure that they do, because we stay in that. If that's the case, Atlanta's been in that Grammy categories since 2007.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
Out a light year for me is Holy Grail and Flawless. So
right.
we good over here. I'm holding ATL down, so I'm good.